Hello everyone. So in the last class we had started basic strength. First lecture of basic strength is done, and I had explained you what exactly is the basic strength means. How do we calculate it? What does the basis means? And with respect to what we check the basic strength. So we had just started, and I had told you we will be dealing with the nitrogenous bases, among which I had spoken about the aliphatic amines in the last class, and I had told you how exactly to figure out the basic strength order when different aliphatic amines have been given. So I had spoken in terms of the degree of the aliphatic amines. The order should be secondary, tertiary, and primary. And I also told you the exception of secondary, primary, tertiary. In both the cases, the amines are dissolved in water. If the amines are in the gaseous form, then the order is tertiary, secondary, and primary. This also we had discussed. So we had discussed all the explanation regarding the medium in which your amines are and how the basic strength order will be if the amines are present in gaseous state or they are dissolved in the water. So, and along with that, we had seen how hybridization of nitrogen varies and matters for the basic strength. All these discussions have been done in the last lecture, and today we'll be talking about the basic strength comparison according to the aromaticity of the molecule. So, in GOC, we have spoken about the aromaticity. We have seen what is anti aromatic, what is non aromatic, and what is aromatic. So, how to judge if a compound is anti aromatic or non aromatic or aromatic, or let's say you have been given a set of compounds. Where the aromaticity, anti-aromaticity, and all these concepts are involved, how to figure out the basic strength order over there, what we have to exactly think of while marking them according to their KB order. Okay, so today we'll be starting with basic strength order according to the aromaticity. Here you have to understand one thing very, very clearly, that is, when you're talking about an aromatic compound, if you are taking an aromatic structure where nitrogen is embedded, in that case, what is the possibility? If the nitrogen is involved in the, or nitrogen's lone pair is involved in the resonance, and when it is acting as a base, it is basically losing that pair of electron, or that pair of electron is going away. In that case, the aromatic molecule gets converted into the anti aromatic molecule. For example, let's look at this. This is my aromatic species, right? Here, if I look at the species, nitrogen is embedded in the aromatic molecule, and while I'm considering this compound as aromatic, I'm actually including its pair of electron also. Now, when I'll be talking about the basic strength of this molecule, I will be dealing with this pair of electron. So basically, what I'm expecting is that this nitrogen should give away its pair of electron to something. Basically, it should share its pair of electron with something else, and when it will do so, these two electrons will not remain there with the nitrogen. So basically, this nitrogen, or this species which was aromatic before, after acting as a base by giving its pair of electron or by accepting H plus, assume it has accepted the H plus, in that case the molecule will be like this. This is what will be the resultant molecule. After this nitrogen has acted as a base, H plus will come attach over here, nitrogen will gain a positive charge. Now, is this molecule aromatic? Just look at the number of pi electrons over here. We have only 4 pi electrons. This is not aromatic. So this molecule has lost its aromaticity just to behave as a base. And we have discussed this already, that whenever a molecule's aromaticity is breaking, or its aromaticity is getting destroyed due to any reason, that particular molecule will not proceed in its reaction in that direction, or it would not prefer losing its aromaticity for a certain reaction. So, though this particular molecule can show the basic behavior because nitrogen has the pair of electron, but it would not prefer to do so. Why it will not prefer to do so? Because if it will do so, if it will behave like a base by taking the H plus or giving its pair of electron, in that case, the aromaticity of this molecule will be lost, and it will go from a very stable state to an unstable state, a relatively lesser stable state. So stability said it is moving towards the instability, which is not the phenomena of a reaction. In the reactions generally take place in order where unstable species go towards a stable one, or you can say the reaction takes place in more stability order. If the reaction is going ahead, or it's proceeding, or it's in the forward direction, that means it is moving towards the stability. Here it is going opposite. If it is doing the reaction, the molecule is becoming unstable, which it would never prefer. So if somebody asks me whether this molecule will show the basic behavior, it can, but it would not prefer to do so. So even though it has the pair of electron, its basic strength is very less due to two reasons. One is its lone pair is involved in the resonance, and this molecule is losing its aromaticity by giving its pair of electron or by taking H plus ion. Okay. This is one funda. Okay, this is for the aromatic compound. Now let me explain you what happens in the anti-aromatic compound. In case of anti-aromatic compound, let's take this molecule. This is my anti-aromatic molecule. So I have a structure here. In anti-aromatic, nitrogen must be embedded in the system to basically behave in the particular basic strength order which we are going to discuss. Here you don't have to mug up anything, just think logically. Okay, so this is my molecule. Here if you see, I have this lone pair and this pi bond. Both are involved in the resonance and following 4n pi electrons wala funda. Okay, so this is my this is actually approving the 4n pi electrons, and it has, and these two these pi electron sets are in conjugation, hence this is anti-aromatic, highly unstable. Now when this nitrogen has to behave like base, what exactly will it do? It will either take H plus or it will give away its pair of electron. Either of these two things it will do. So let's do this way. Let's add H plus into this. Let's think that the pair of electron is attracting H plus towards this and making the bond. The molecule will look like this. The lone pair is gone. I have only one pi bond over here, correct? So one pi bond, that means 2 electrons. It is actually following 4n plus 2 pi electrons concept. This is Huckel rule. And from anti-aromatic, it has got converted into aromatic, which is highly stable. So from highly unstable state, after behaving like a base, it is converted into the highly stable state. So that means it will definitely want to go to this direction, because as soon as it will behave like a base, it will get rid of its instability and will become very, very stable. So this is the most preferred direction for an anti-aromatic compound. I hope you have got it. Aromatic compound is losing its aromaticity after behaving like a base, and anti-aromatic compound is actually become aromatic after acting like a base. So if aromatic compound, if somebody asks me aromatic compound will be basic, no, because it is losing its aromaticity. When it is losing, understand this, when the pair of electron is the part of resonance, but that means the nitrogen is part of that cyclic structure and giving away its lone pair. If you talk about this kind of structure, let's say this is the benzene, this is aromatic, and the nitrogen is here, right? So aromatic is this thing. This nitrogen's lone pair is involved in the basic strength, but it is not affecting the aromaticity of this benzene. So this is not considered into this order ki aromaticity is breaking. Here aromaticity is not breaking in either way, because aromatic is the ring. It's not the whole molecule. So in this case, when NH2 is there, NH2 is becoming NH3 plus. Here the benzene's aromaticity is still maintained, right? So we do not use this concept over here. But if the nitrogen is part of the cyclic chain and its pair of electron is involved in the basic reaction, that time aromatic compound becomes something else and anti-aromatic compound become aromatic. So basically aromatic compound loses its aromaticity and becomes an unstable species. It can be a non-aromatic, it can be an anti-aromatic. I hope you have got it. Now understand what will happen to a non-aromatic compound. Now let me take a non-aromatic compound. This is my non-aromatic compound. Okay, if it's non-aromatic, it's a simple cyclic chain, right? So now when it will accept the H plus, it will still remain the non-aromatic. So stability of the molecule is not decreasing. It was non-aromatic, it is still a non-aromatic compound. So that means it is not going towards lesser stable state, it is going towards the equally stable state, right? So here, what is the order? Basically, anti-aromatic ones would like to show the basic behavior, aromatic ones would not like to show the basic behavior, and non-aromatics are neutral about it. So if somebody asks me which will show the best basic strength, your anti-aromatic will show the best basic strength, then your non-aromatic, and then your aromatic. Please understand, this phenomena or this particular concept is applicable only when the nitrogen is the part of aromatic ring. It is not outside the aromatic ring. If it is outside the aromatic ring, in that case the aromatic ring is not getting affected by the pair of electron given by nitrogen, or acceptance of H plus is not basically affecting your aromaticity of the molecule, because your ring is still aromatic. So there is two different concepts. One is benzene with nitrogen on it. So when nitrogen is behaving like a base, it is basically not breaking the aromaticity of benzene. But if the nitrogen is part of an aromatic compound, in that case, if the lone pair goes out or H plus comes in, aromaticity gets affected. So this is very, very important. If you have these kind of compounds, in that case, anti-aromatic one will show the most basic behavior, then non-aromatic, then aromatic. Concept, why it happens, how it happens, I have just explained you. So now when I talk about this compound, this is my anti-aromatic compound, this is aromatic and this is non-aromatic. So order of basic strength, first will be most basic, then your third one, and then your second one. Now look at the next compound. Next compound what we have, this is your anti-aromatic compound. Why? Because total 8 pi electrons are there, and here you have 6 pi electrons. So this is aromatic, this is your aromatic, this is your anti-aromatic. Which one will be more basic? Obviously anti-aromatic one. Now look at this one. I have a non-aromatic ring over here where the nitrogen is placed and the lone pair is present. So non-aromatic will still remain non-aromatic after giving its lone pair or by accepting H plus. So the stability is not affected for non-aromatic. This is your aromatic ring. You have a pair of electron over here. This ring is the aromatic ring. 1 pi bond here, 1 pi bond here, and the pair of electron here, so 6 pi electrons. And when this nitrogen will participate in the basic reaction, that time it will lose its pair of electron and the molecule will become like this. This molecule will not remain aromatic, right? And it will lose its aromaticity. Hence, it would not prefer to go in this direction. Hence, your non-aromatic compound or the compound containing non-aromatic ring will show more basic behavior than your compound having an aromatic ring. So here we are done with the examples where you have to check the aromaticity of the part of a molecule or the whole molecule and then see how it affects the basic strength. Here you don't have to mug it up. You have to just use the logic that anti-aromatic, if it is going towards aromatic or non-aromatic, definitely it is acquiring better stability, so it would prefer to do so. If non-aromatic is becoming aromatic, or if non-aromatic is remaining non-aromatic, in that case it is going towards either more stability or the same stability, so reaction is feasible and preferred. But for aromatic, if it is going in the direction which is opposite, basically towards the lesser stability, then reaction is not preferred and hence it will be the least basic one. So now we'll start the aromatic amines. Aromatic amines are the ones where benzene is there and NH2 is on the benzene, or nitrogen is on the benzene, not part of the aromatic ring. So here aromaticity of the ring is not going to get affected. Okay, so now if I'm talking about aromatic amines, this is how your aromatic amine looks like. Benzene with NH2, this is your primary amine. It can be secondary, it can be tertiary, depending upon what R groups are present over here, what group is present over here. Basically, if it is one R group or two R groups or two hydrogens, the degree of this amine will be defined. And we have done the comparison with the aliphatic amine. So this is my aromatic amine and this is my aliphatic amine. So now if I look at the aromatic amine, my aromatic amine's nitrogen is basically an sp2 hybridized nitrogen. Why? Because its pair of electron is delocalized one. It is actually participating in the resonance and hence it is present in the p orbital, which is in parallel to the carbons, so that it can do resonance, and it is not in the hybridized orbital. We have spoken about this in resonance already. So pair of electron, which looks like it should be in the hybridized orbital, it is actually present in the unhybridized orbital, so that it can participate in the resonance. So this is your sp2 hybridized nitrogen, this is your sp3 hybridized nitrogen. So we already know that sp3 hybridized nitrogen is less electronegative and sp2 is more electronegative. More electronegative your nitrogen is, more it has the tendency to keep its electron towards itself or pull the electron density towards itself. So it is not a giver, it is actually a taker. So it would not prefer giving its electron density to something else because it has more affinity towards electrons. So it is difficult for sp2 hybridized nitrogen to give away electron density, and hence it is lesser basic. Whereas sp3 hybridized nitrogen is lesser electronegative, can give away the electron density or can take the H plus ion, and hence it is more basic. So if you compare the aromatic amine and the aliphatic amines are more basic than your aromatic amines. That's why we have written here 2 and 1. You can also compare this basic strength using the concept of localized pair of electron and delocalized pair of electron also. Here two factors are basically driving the basic strength in a certain direction. First is, I told you, the electronegativity. Second is your lone pair presence. In one case the lone pair is delocalized, hence it is not residing on nitrogen all the time, and it is not available with nitrogen to give it away every single time in case of aromatic amines. Whereas in case of aliphatic amines, the pair of electron is available all the time with nitrogen, and hence it can give it away very easily. So first is the electronegativity of aliphatic amines nitrogen is lesser, hence easy to give electron density. Second, the pair of electron is local and hence easily available. So two reasons are making this aliphatic amine more basic than your aromatic amine. Now, what happens? What happens when groups are present? So when you have amine, you can have substitutions on it, basically on ortho, meta or para position. You can have any substitution, any group present on it. Now group can be electron releasing and group can be electron withdrawing. So presence of any other group on either of these positions, how does it affect the basic strength? Let's understand that. So if we have electron releasing group, you have aniline and you have electron releasing group present, that means it is giving the density to the rest of the molecule. I have, let's suppose, let me just write it over here. So I have aniline and let's suppose I have an electron releasing group over here. So this electron releasing group is basically giving the electron density to the rest of the molecule. In rest of the molecule there is benzene and NH2 both. So basically whatever the electron density was there on benzene and NH2, now it has been increased due to donation by ERG. This donation can be through inductive effect, this donation can be through mesomeric effect. Either way, if it is electron donating, it is giving the electron density to the benzene. It is giving the electron density to the molecule. If it is giving the electron density to the molecule, it is obviously reaching to the nitrogen also. So whatever is the electron density on nitrogen, it is definitely going to increase due to the presence of ERG. If the electron density is increasing around nitrogen, its basic strength is gonna increase. Why? More the electron density, more donation is possible, or more easily the donation is possible. So hence electron releasing groups always increases the basic strength. Basically they make the electrons available around nitrogen or electron density available around nitrogen so that Lewis acids can react or H plus can react with the nitrogen. So any electron releasing group is basically increasing the electron density in the whole molecule. If it is increasing the electron density in the whole molecule, definitely it is increasing the electron density around nitrogen also. And hence nitrogen has relatively more electron density than its normal state, and hence it will act more basic now. So in case of ERG, basic strength increases, especially when you are talking about the meta and para positions. We will talk about ortho later because ortho is associated with some other factors also. The same way how we have spoken about acidic strength order in COH, that any group present on the ortho position shows its ortho effect. A very similar effect is going to work here in case of amines also. So that's the reason why we are ditching ortho right now. We'll talk about ortho a little later. But if the electron releasing group is present on the meta position and the para position or the para position, then this effect is prominent, that electron releasing group is going to give the electron density to the compound and it is going to reach to the nitrogen. As soon as it will reach to the nitrogen, or if nitrogen is more electron rich, it is going to be more basic. So the order is electron releasing group present on meta or para position will increase the basic strength order, so that is most basic, then your normal aniline, and then comes your electron withdrawing group if it is there on the aniline. So basically instead of electron releasing group, if it is electron withdrawing group, it is present on meta, para or ortho. What will it do? It will pull the electron density, will decrease the density of electron in overall molecule. If it will decrease the density of electron in overall molecule, Exactly same way how electron releasing groups were increasing the density around nitrogen, exactly same way electron withdrawing group will decrease the electron density around nitrogen. So capability of donation of electron or capability of bringing the H plus towards itself to react or attracting the H plus or Lewis acids towards itself to react and make a bond will decrease for nitrogen. So electron density will decrease around nitrogen if an electron withdrawing group is present, and hence the basic strength will decrease. So aniline with electron releasing groups on meta and para are most basic, then the normal aniline, and then the least basic ones are the ones where aniline is substituted with electron withdrawing groups on ortho, para or meta position. So this is the general order. This is basic concept. This you should know by now. If you don't know, if you don't understand, ask me in the class, because this is very, very, very important. If you don't understand anything here, anything out of what we have done till now, ask me in the class. If you have understood, let's move to the next thing, that is the ortho kind of effect on the aniline. So we don't call it ortho effect basically. We call it as steric inhibition of protonation. When we are talking about ortho substituted aniline, no matter it is substituted with electron withdrawing group or electron releasing group, the presence of any kind of group on the ortho position makes aniline the weaker base. Why does it make it weaker base? Let's understand. So basically what happens, the concept here is again of the crowding. When you have any group present on the ortho position, which I have shown it over here, the G is present on the ortho position. This G can be electron releasing or electron withdrawing. Now how nitrogen acts as a base? What is the definition of a base? Nitrogen has to give its lone pair to something, or it has to take H plus. Either way it has to behave. Now to take that electron pair, some species will have to come closer to the nitrogen, or H plus has to come closer to the nitrogen to make that bond. Basically either the Lewis acid or the H plus has to come closer to the nitrogen. But if there is crowding around nitrogen, if there are bigger groups present around the nitrogen, especially on the ortho positions, due to the steric hindrance, water or Lewis acids do not approach nitrogen. Even though nitrogen has the pair of electron, they face repulsion. Or they face that steric crowding, and due to that crowding, reaching to the nitrogen becomes difficult, and hence even though nitrogen is electron rich, it has pair of electron, it will not be able to give its pair of electron to a Lewis acid or to H plus to make a bond. So very, very simple concept. Normal aniline has the pair of electron, H plus will come, H plus is coming from water. So basically it will form NH3 plus, and then this NH3 plus will stabilize itself in the water by forming the hydrogen bonds with the water molecules. So this is the species how it will look like. Okay, so I have not written H over here, so let's write it. So this hydrogen and this O will form hydrogen bonding. A new H of the water will form a bond with nitrogen by taking its pair of electron, and here again the hydrogen is forming the hydrogen bond with the water's oxygen. So this kind of setup will form. Okay, a lot of hydrogen bonding, and nitrogen with a pair of electron and H from water will come and will make a bond. So this kind of setup will happen. Rest of the hydrogens will form hydrogen bonding. Nitrogen will go and attract the H plus and the bond will form. So this kind of setup will be formed. But this is very difficult when a group is present near NH2, no matter it is electron releasing or electron withdrawing, because it is gonna face repulsions from there. So what basically happens, for hydrogens to stabilize themselves by forming hydrogen bond becomes very difficult. For H plus to approach this nitrogen becomes very difficult because of the steric crowding, and hence water does not come closer to nitrogen or does not come closer to the hydrogens to form the hydrogen bond and stabilize the whole molecule or hydrate the whole molecule. That is what we call as protonation. Nitrogen attracting H plus of water towards itself and forming the bond is called as protonation. And due to the steric hindrance, when that protonation doesn't happen or happens very, very slow, we call this process steric inhibition of resonance. Though nitrogen has the pair of electron, if it is electron releasing group, then it will have more electron density around nitrogen. But the problem is, it will be, unless it is capable of showing its basic strength, that lone pair is useless, or the pair of electron or electron density is useless. So if it can exhibit that basic strength, then only it will be called as base or a good base. If it has electron density but it is not able to exhibit the property, then in that case, irrespective of its electron density around itself, it will be called as poor base. So even though nitrogen has a lot of electron density due to any reason, if it is more, let's say if instead of hydrogen there are Nr over here, basically it's a secondary or a tertiary amine, in that case the electron density around nitrogen will be furthermore. But what is the problem? The problem is, even though it has a lot of electron density, if any group is present on the ortho position, that will restrict the entry of water or the Lewis acid towards nitrogen, and hence nitrogen, even after having a lot of density, will not be able to exhibit its basic property, and this is exactly is called as steric inhibition of protonation. So here, what is the group? It doesn't matter. It can be electron donating, it can be electron releasing, but both the groups will hinder the process, will hinder the protonation. Protonation means acceptance of H plus, and hence this phenomena makes your base weaker. So presence of any group on the ortho position makes your aniline weak, okay, makes your aniline's nitrogen weaker base. Whereas if it is present on the, if electron donating groups are present on the meta or para position, they increases the basic strength. If the electron withdrawing groups are present on the meta and para position, they further decrease the basic strength. So I hope you have understood. This is called as SIP, steric inhibition of protonation, which is very similar to steric inhibition of resonance. In case of steric inhibition of resonance, resonance stops. Here resonance is not stopping. Here the molecule is not going out of the plane. NH2 is not going out of the plane. Only thing is, because of any bigger thing or groups present in the ortho position, entry of Lewis acid or H plus or water is getting restricted, and hence your nitrogen, even after having the electron density, is not able to show its basic strength or its basic property. Hello everyone, so let's look at the questions, examples what are given here. It's on the concept of what we have understood just now. So we have ortho, para, meta, toluidine. This NH2 with CH3 is called as toluidine. So in first case we have CH3 on the ortho position, then meta, then para, and then normal aniline. If you look at the CH3 on ortho, it is showing SIP, that is steric inhibition of protonation, which is base weakening effect, hyperconjugation donating and inductive donating. CH3 on meta, donating inductive effect. Hyperconjugation and inductive both are donating in case of para, and aniline has no group present over here. So here, which one will be the strongest base? Strongest base will be the one with the para position CH3. Why? Because it has two electron donating groups, or donating effects are present. One is through hyperconjugation, one is through inductive effect. Why not ortho? Because ortho has steric inhibition of protonation. It will basically give a lot of electron density. This group will give a lot of electron density to nitrogen, but even though there is a lot of electron density present around the nitrogen, due to the steric hindrance, nitrogen will not be able to show its basic behavior because it will hinder the incoming of water molecule. Steric hindrance to water, and no protonation will happen, or lesser or slow protonation will happen, which will basically make it a very, very weak base. So how will be the order? Order will be third, then second. I have written first by mistake. Second, that is CH3 on the meta position, where donating effect is working through inductive effect only. Then comes your normal aniline, and your ortho one is even lesser basic than your aniline because it is not able to exhibit its basic property, even though the nitrogen has a lot of electron density around it. Okay, now come to the next compound. In next compound we have chlorine present on the ortho position, so it will also show the steric inhibition of protonation. Chlorine on meta will show the electron withdrawing inductive effect. Chlorine on para will show electron withdrawing inductive effect and electron donating resonance effect. And then we have normal aniline. I have written pH, it is PHNH2. So let's see how the order is gonna be. The order is gonna be aniline, that is normal aniline is the most basic one because no electron withdrawing group is present. Then comes your aniline with chlorine on the para position. Why? Because it is showing inductive effect as withdrawing, but it has resonance effect as donating. So that donating effect is not prominent, we understand that, but it is definitely decreasing the electron withdrawing capacity because one effect is opposite of another. So chlorine is withdrawing through inductive effect and donating through mesomeric effect, so they are nullifying each other a bit. So that's why inductive effect is getting neutralized a lot by mesomeric effect, and hence this will be next basic. Then comes your second one. In second one, what we have, NH2 with chlorine on the meta position, that electron withdrawing effect is there, but still nitrogen will be able to show its basic behavior at least. In the case of 1, where chlorine is the closest to the nitrogen over here, due to the steric inhibition of resonance, it will not be able to exhibit its basic behavior altogether. Why? Because of the steric hindrance. First of all, electron withdrawing effect is very close. Secondly, it will not be able to show its basic behavior at all, because due to the steric hindrance, H2O and other Lewis acids will not be able to approach your nitrogen. So now let's look at this next example where we have chlorine present on the para position and the fluorine present on the para position. So we have done this kind of case earlier also. In case of chlorine and fluorine both, you have inductive effect, which is electron withdrawing, and mesomeric effect, which is donating. Now here, which one will be a stronger base? Basically, the fluorine present on the para position will be a stronger base. Why? Reason being, when you look at this molecule is more stable. We know that chlorine tends to do the d orbital resonance. So due to this d orbital resonance, this whole molecule overall will have better stability. Or you can also say the electron which is participating in the resonance will be lesser available to the nitrogen, because 6 resonating structures are there, whereas in case of NH2 over here, where we have 5 resonating structures. So if you look at the availability of electron to nitrogen, it is better in case of fluorine as compared to case of chlorine, because there are 6 resonating structures here. So more resonating structures due to the d orbital resonance, making the electrons further lesser available to the nitrogen, and that is the reason why second is more basic than the first one. Now let's look at the next set of questions. In next question, we have NO2 at the ortho position with NH2. This was minus M, minus I, and SiP also, right? Then NO2 on the meta position, electron withdrawing effect by inductive effect, and NO2 on the para position is again electron withdrawing effect by inductive as well as mesomeric both, and then aniline. So we know that the electron withdrawing molecules tend to bring down the basic strength. So which one will be the most basic among these? Aniline will be the most basic among these, because this has no electron withdrawing group present. Then comes what? Then comes your meta. Why meta? Because meta has electron withdrawing effect, but that is only through the inductive effect. Then comes your third one. So even though there are 2 electron withdrawing effects are present here, still there is some basic strength, because nitrogen's electron pair will still be able to do the base reaction. But in case of NO2 present on the ortho position, the effects are closer. Basically, withdrawing effects are closer to NH2, and it's a group which will stop the protonation and the basic behavior of NH2, and that is the reason why this ortho one is the least basic, and the most basic is the aniline one. So most basic aniline, because no electron withdrawing group, then meta, then para, and then ortho. So now next is aromatic amines. Kb will be tertiary, secondary, and primary. This is gonna be the order, unlike aliphatic amines. So in aliphatic amines, we had seen the order would be secondary, then tertiary, and then primary if our NH2 is there. And if this R is CH3, then the order is gonna be tertiary, secondary, primary, and tertiary. This we have already discussed. But this is not the case for the aromatic amines. In aromatic amines, we do not dissolve them into the water. So these are generally in the gaseous nature. So they have the order of tertiary, secondary, and primary. Okay. So now here we have here aromatic amines with 2 groups present over here. So this is the tertiary amine, most basic one. 2 electron donating groups are present on the nitrogen. Then NH with CH3, 1 electron donating group present on the nitrogen. This is secondary, and next more basic, and then comes your primary aniline. So basic strength order is not same as aliphatic amines, because aliphatic amines are dissolved into the water. Here aromatic amines, so these are not dissolved into water. So here we only talk about one order, that is through the electron releasing inductive effect of R groups. We do not talk about aromatic amines being dissolved in the water and what will be the impact over there. So this is about the order of the basic strength for tertiary, primary, and secondary aromatic amines. Here we have a very important thing. Now when we talk about a tertiary aromatic amine, that is tertiary aniline, this is a bulky group. And I told you when we were talking about steric inhibition of resonance that any bulky group will face the steric inhibition of resonance, and the group will go out of the plane. This was not happening on aniline till now on NH2, because NH2 is a small group. and anything which is present on the ortho position was just doing the steric inhibition of protonation. That means due to the steric hindrance around, H2O was not coming closer to the nitrogen, but it was not making that nitrogen out of the plane. But here your tertiary aniline is actually a quite big group, and presence of any group on the ortho position also makes it out of the plane. So here there are two effects which are working all together. One is SIP due to the CH3 present on the ortho position, and one is due to the bulky nature of NCH3CH3 or tertiary amine. SIR is also applicable. That means this nitrogen goes out of the plane. Now both of these effects are contradicting each other. Just understand, if it is steric inhibition of protonation, due to the steric hindrance, the H plus will not be able to approach hydrogen, right? But at the same time, due to the bulky nature of NCH3, this NCH3 will go out of the plane, and the lone pair, which is generally delocalized for aniline, has become a localized pair of electron. It is not participating in the resonance. This pair of electron is now completely with nitrogen. So here there are two effects. One is increasing the basic strength. Steric inhibition of resonance is basically increasing the basic strength. Why? Because now that pair of electron is localized, not delocalized. Whereas steric inhibition of protonation is decreasing the basic strength. So which one we should consider here? Here, your SIR is dominant because of the bulky nature of your nitrogen group, basically tertiary amine. It will go out of the plane, and that will take precedence over the steric inhibition of protonation. So overall, what we say, SIR is the one here which is increasing the basic strength. SIP is not able to decrease the strength, basic strength of it, because now the pair of electron has become the local pair of electron. So here, if you have to consider the order, if you have to compare the order, how will we compare the order? Just look at it very carefully. So I have taken here normal aniline, then I have taken the normal primary aniline with two CH3 groups on the ortho position, which are exhibiting steric inhibition. No SIR at all, because NH2 is a small group. It is just steric inhibition of protonation. SH, I have written a steric hindrance, so I can write it as steric inhibition of protonation is what this NH2 is facing. Now we have no group on the ortho position for tertiary aniline, right? So this is quite a bulky group. Two electron donating groups are present over here, so a lot of electron density on nitrogen. And then we have methyl groups over here on the ortho position. These are exhibiting SIR. We will not talk about steric inhibition of protonation here because that is almost neglected, because SIR is taking precedence over steric inhibition of protonation. So now we have to arrange them in the basic strength order. So first of all, more electron dense your nitrogen will be, more basic it will be. So, and second thing is, more localized your, or more the electron pair is closer to the nitrogen, more it is available on nitrogen, more basic will be your molecule. So here, among the tertiary and primary aniline, obviously tertiary will be more basic. Now we have third and fourth, both are tertiary. Now out of third and fourth, which one is more basic? Let's understand. So I have methyl over here, which is causing steric inhibition of resonance, because of which resonance with benzene is stopped. So pair of electron on third is delocalized lone pair, whereas pair of electron is localized pair of electron, which is more availability of electron on nitrogen, and hence this is most basic. Unlike SIP, which is making it lesser basic or the least basic, no, SIP is almost neglected over here because SIR is taking precedence. SIR is a dominant effect. It is making your group out of the plane. Now electrons are more available. These are localized, out of the plane, so easily approachable by H plus, and hence this is most basic among all these. Then comes your third compound, which is tertiary nitrogen. More electron density is there. Then among second and first, both are primary. The CH3s are providing steric inhibition of protonation, which decreases the basic strength. So the next basic will be your normal aniline, and the last basic will be your second one, which has SIP effect working on it. So the order will be 4, 3, 1 and 2. Understand this order very carefully. This is very important. This whole concept itself is very important. Next, let's talk about the last question of the day, and that is, here we have four nitrogens. I have marked them 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have to arrange them according to their basic strength. So this nitrogen has electron. This is your third degree nitrogen, third degree aromatic nitrogen, and here you have a second degree aliphatic nitrogen. Okay. Now these groups are on the ortho position, so this is facing SIR, this group is facing SIR, this nitrogen is facing SIR. Here this is secondary, here this is tertiary, but without SIR, no SIR here. Then again here, what is it? Here you have primary. So how the order would be in the beginning of the amines, I told you aliphatic amines are more basic than your aromatic amines. So aliphatic will take precedence over aromatic. So in aliphatic, what is the order? Second degree, third degree, and first degree. This is what your order should be for basicity. So here among first and third, which one will be more basic? Third one will be more basic. So third one comes first, then comes your first one. Then out of second and fourth, which one will be more basic? Your this nitrogen, which is facing SIR, will be more basic. Okay, so then it is second, and the last one is the fourth one, where you have tertiary but no SIR. So this will be the last, having the last basicity. I'm sorry, this is 4. Let me just explain it again. Aliphatics are more basic than your aromatic ones, right? So aliphatic one, in aliphatic the order is secondary, tertiary, and primary. So secondary, this is your secondary amine, so this will be most basic. Then this is your primary, relatively lesser. Then we come to the aromatic amines. In case of aromatic amines, the one which has SIR will be more basic. This is facing SIR due to the two groups present on the ortho position, hence it is gonna be basic. And the last one, the fourth one, is not facing any SIR, so it is basic but relatively lesser basic. So the order is third, then first, then second, then fourth. I hope you have understood this. Please watch this video twice and at a normal pace to understand these things well. Make the proper notes, ask me whatever doubts you have in the next class. This is an important part and you get a lot of questions from this part in your competitive exams. So in next class, we'll be talking about furthermore examples of basic strength and of different type of compounds. We are done with the aliphatic amines, we are done with the aromatic amines. Next class, we'll be talking about next few type of nitrogenous bases and the order of basic strength. Till then, finish this and ask me your doubts.